Today, we're diving into a really fascinating, high-stakes corner of the business world, fintech advertising. Specifically, we're going to look at how companies that build these super specialized tools for the stock market, how on earth do they find the tiny handful of people, maybe just a few hundred on the entire planet, who are their actual customers?
Right. This is the core puzzle, isn't it? I mean, think about it. Let's say you've created this brilliant, highly complex algorithmic trading platform. Your customer base isn't millions of people. It's, what, a couple hundred hedge fund managers, maybe some quants scattered across New York, London, Hong Kong. How do you possibly reach just them without burning through your entire marketing budget? That's the problem we're going to tackle. So, first things first, let's really understand the problem here. This is what we call a high-stakes targeting problem. And the stakes are just incredibly high, precisely because that audience is so ridiculously specific. You know, most advertising for most products is basically like this. You're standing in the middle of a packed stadium and you're just shouting at the top of your lungs, hoping the right person happens to hear you. And look, if you're selling something like a new soda or a pair of sneakers, that kind of works. You just have to be loud enough, and by sheer numbers, you'll eventually find your customer. It's a game of volume. But for one of these fintechs, that's just lighting cash on fire. And this really gets at the core difference between what we call B2C, that's business to consumer, and B2B, business to business. B2C is all about those broad, emotional ads that lead to quick buys. Think about a snappy commercial. B2B, though, is a whole different animal. The audience is tiny, but incredibly valuable. The sales process can take months, sometimes years. And you're not just convincing one person. You have to win over an entire team of experts with really deep educational content that proves you know your stuff. So let's go back to our stadium analogy. If most companies are just shouting, these fintechs need a totally different approach. They have to walk through the crowd, find one specific seat in a specific section, and hand-deliver a sealed envelope. It has nothing to do with volume. It's all about absolute surgical precision. Okay, so how is that even possible? I mean, how do you find that one specific seat in a stadium of 50,000 people? Well, that brings us to the modern answer, the automated solution. The answer has a fancy name, B2B Programmatic Marketing. Yeah, it sounds a little complex, but the core idea is actually pretty straightforward. It's basically a fully automated process that uses massive amounts of data to target business audiences. It's the technology that finds that person, buys the ad space in front of them, and delivers the message all in the blink of an eye. And look, this isn't magic, right? It's just algorithms. Really, really smart algorithms. They're constantly crunching data. Things like job titles from professional networks, the size of the company someone works for, what articles they're reading on financial news sites, what software they're researching. All of that gets put together to make sure the perfect ad finds the perfect person at the perfect time. So you can probably see where this is going. Why is this approach such a perfect match for the fintech world in particular? Well, it really boils down to 4 huge advantages. First, that precise targeting we talked about. You're not just targeting finance people, you're targeting someone with the exact job title quantitative analyst at a hedge fund with over $1 billion in assets. Second, you've got optimized automation. The AI does all the hard work of buying and placing the ads, way faster and more efficiently than any human team could. Third, and this is huge, you get real-time analytics. You can see, instantly, if an ad is working. If it's not, you can tweak it or pull it before you waste a massive budget. And finally, you get this amazing cross-platform reach. You can find that same professional whether they're scrolling through LinkedIn, reading an article on Bloomberg, or visiting a super niche industry forum.
This quote really nails it. With programmatic marketing, you can bypass guesswork and directly appeal to prospects. That's the whole game right there. It's a shift away from just hoping you hit the right person to knowing you're talking directly to them. It's moving from advertising as an art of chance to a science of certainty.
All right, so that's the tech, that's the theory, but how do companies actually use this stuff? What does the real-world playbook for growth look like? It's usually a combination of a few key strategies. It all starts with creating really valuable content. We're talking deep dive white papers, expert webinars, things that actually teach a professional something. That's the bait. Then there's something called account-based marketing, or ABM. This is where you literally target a specific company, like, say, Goldman Sachs, and treat it as its own unique market. You layer on top of that some smart SEO, so you show up whenever someone from that company searches for a solution you provide. And finally, you seal the deal with highly targeted video and display ads to keep your brand top of mind.
And this isn't just theory. You see the biggest names in fintech doing this every day. Take Plaid. They use targeted programmatic video ads to show developers exactly how simple their API is to integrate. Or look at Adyen. They went after companies that make massive international payments by advertising on super niche financial websites. And of course, there's Stripe. They're the masters. They use the whole playbook: incredible SEO, account-based marketing, targeted ads, and that's a huge reason why they dominate their market.
So this technology is already incredibly powerful. But of course, it's not standing still. So what's on the horizon? Where does this go from here? People are talking about 3 big trends. The first is personalization at a scale we've never seen before. Think ads that use AI to change their message or visuals based on who you are in real time. Then you have interactive ads. Imagine seeing an ad for a new financial tool and being able to pop in your own numbers to calculate your potential ROI, right there inside the ad itself. And finally, the big one, blockchain. The idea is to use it to create a completely transparent, unchangeable record of every ad dollar spent and every ad delivered. For finance companies obsessed with data and security, that could be a total game changer. And all of this leaves us with one last and pretty important question to chew on. As this technology gets better and better at delivering that sealed envelope, it also gets better at knowing exactly who we are as professionals, what we do, what we need, what problems we're trying to solve. So the big question is, as advertising becomes perfectly targeted, where do we draw the line between helpful, personalized service and an invasion of our professional privacy? Something to think about.